Hello, my name is Paul Brewster, and welcome to Coffee with the Dead. In today's episode, we will enter the Dragon and visit the grave site of Kung Fu Jesus himself, Bruce Lee. An actor, teacher, and one of the greatest martial artists of all time. Bruce Lee, the fourth of 5 children, was born on November 27, 1940, in San Francisco. Fun fact, in 1940, the Golden Gate Bridge was less than 4 years old. Bruce's dad, Lee Hoi Chuen, was a Cantonese opera actor born in China. His mom, Grace Ho, born in Shanghai in 1907, was from one of the most wealthiest and powerful clans in Hong Kong, called the Hotungs. Grace Ho was Eurasian, part Jewish, part Dutch, part German, and part Cantonese. At the age of 3 months old, Bruce Lee would make his cinematic debut in a film called Golden Gate Girl, which was released in 1946. In 1941, the family moved to Hong Kong. That same year, Japan would invade the city, and after an 18-day battle, Hong Kong would surrender. Japan would rule the city for the next 4 years. The surrender would take place on December 26, 1941. This day would become known as Black Christmas to the locals. At the age of 7, Lee would start practicing Tai Chi with his father. By the age of 9, Lee was a famous child actor. Then at the age of 13, Lee started training with Yip Man, who was a Chinese martial arts grandmaster. This was unusual because Chinese martial arts at the time was not taught to non-Asians. But it was Lee's friend, William Chung, who spoke on his behalf. By the age of 18, Lee had appeared in 20 films, won the school's boxing tournament by knocking out the previous champion, and was crowned the winner of Hong Kong's Crown Colony Cha-Cha Championship. Yes, Mr. Fist of Fury was a cha-cha dancing champion. But he was also a street fighting man, and one of those fights involved the son of a feared triad family whom Lee defeated. This led to a rooftop battle with another martial arts school. Lee beat his opponent so bad that the parents of the victim filed a police report. It was this combination that persuaded Lee's father to send Bruce back to San Francisco to live with his oldest sister, Agnes. Fun fact number 2. Fight clubs would battle on rooftops in the 50s and 60s as it provided less adult supervision and more shelter from the police. After a few months, Lee moved to Seattle to live with Ruby Chow, whose husband was a friend of Lee's father. In 1959, Lee finished high school at Edison Technical on Capitol Hill. In 1967, the school was officially renamed Seattle Central College, which in 1999 is where I received my associate's degree. From 1961 to 1964, Bruce Lee went to school here at the University of Washington, where he studied drama and philosophy. His future wife, Linda Emery, was not only a student at the university, but she was also one of Lee's students. They shared, among other things, a mutual interest in Chinese philosophy. On August 17, 1964, Bruce and Linda were married secretly in Seattle. Secretly, because marriage among mixed races at the time in some states was illegal. Fun fact number 3. In the summer of 2000, I graduated from the University of Washington with a BA in creative writing. Lee taught at many different locations in Seattle. His first dojo was in the International District, and his second one was in Chinatown. The last place that he taught was here at 4750 University Way, which may soon become a Seattle landmark. In 1964, Lee would drop out of college and move to Oakland to open his second school with a local martial artist by the name of James Lee. That same year, Lee would attend the inaugural tournament of the Long Beach International Karate Championships. It was there that he would demonstrate the 1-inch punch, as well as the 2-finger push-up. Lee was discovered at the tournament by celebrity hairstylist Jay Sebring. Sebring mentioned Lee to a producer friend of his by the name of William Dozier, who brought Lee in to audition for a pilot titled Number One Son. The pilot did not get picked up, but Dozier would prove to be Lee's gateway to Hollywood. On February 1st, 1965, Bruce and Linda gave birth to a son named Brandon Bruce Lee. Less than a year later, Lee's connection with Dozier would pay off, as he was cast as Kato in The Green Hornet, which Dozier produced. The show, unfortunately, only lasted one season. In 1967, Bruce Lee, the actor, was unemployed, so Bruce Lee, the martial artist, would open up a new dojo in the Chinatown district of Los Angeles, just a little over a mile away from Dodger Stadium. Two of Lee's students included a screenwriter by the name of Sterling Silliphant, who won an Oscar for In the Heat of the Night, and actor James Colburn, who starred in The Magnificent Seven. The three of them worked on a film called The Silent Flute, which was not produced. Ironically, in 1978, a film titled Circle of Iron starring David Carradine was released, which was based on the same plot. This was not the first time that David and Bruce unconsciously crossed paths, because in 1971, Bruce had the idea for a TV series called The Warrior, which was later renamed Kung Fu, starring David Carradine. Bruce Lee would later state that the studio made a business decision not casting an Asian for a Western series. He understood that if the tables were turned, that using a Western actor for an Asian series would simply not work. Back to 1969 real quick, where on April 19th, Bruce and Linda would welcome a beautiful daughter named Shannon Emery Lee. Emery, as you recall, is Linda's maiden name. Unhappy with his supporting roles, Lee would return to Hong Kong in 1971. Upon his return, he discovered how popular the Green Hornet show was. So popular that the show was unofficially renamed The Kato Show. Using his popularity, Lee would secure a 2-picture deal with Golden Harvest, a film production company that dominated the Hong Kong box office sales from the 70s to the 80s. Lee's first film, The Big Boss, debuted in 1971. It grossed almost $50 million worldwide on a $100,000 budget. An enormous box office success across Asia, which catapulted him to instant stardom in Hong Kong. His next film, Fists of Fury, which came out in 1972, smashed The Big Boss film by twice the amount, earning an estimated $100 million worldwide on the same previous budget. With the success of his last two films, Lee was able to renegotiate a new deal with Golden Harvest. Lee would form his own production company called Concord Productions, which gave him complete control over his next film, The Way of the Dragon. In this film, Bruce Lee would introduce to the world Mr. Walker, Texas Ranger himself, Chuck Norris. The two met at the Long Beach Karate Championship back in 1964. Their showdown has been characterized as one of the greatest fight scenes in martial arts and film history. The Way of the Dragon premiered in Hong Kong on December 30th, 1972, and would gross an estimated $130 million worldwide. Fun fact number 4. Bruce Lee was born in the year of the dragon. Now it's August of '72, and Bruce is working on his fourth film, Game of Death. One of the victims in the movie was Los Angeles Lakers superstar Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. Now Kareem came in at 7'2", and Bruce, well, he was 5'8", on a good day. But production stopped in November of '72 when Warner Brothers stepped in and threw down $850,000 to produce Lee's next film, Enter the Dragon. Enter the Dragon premiered on August 19, 1973, and grossed over $400 million. It is considered one of the greatest martial arts movies of all time. From 1971 to 1973, Bruce Lee starred in 4 films that grossed almost $700 million. This was during the height of the Vietnam War and the global oil crisis. Tragically, Bruce Lee would never see the premiere of Enter the Dragon because just 1 month prior, on July 20th, he would pass. His death was officially classified as death by misadventure.
Be formless, shapeless, like water. Now you put water into a cup, it becomes the cup. You put water into a bottle, it becomes the bottle. You put it in a teapot, it becomes the teapot. Now water can flow or it can crash. Be water, my friend.
Bruce Lee was ahead of his time. A multi-ethnic man who married outside of his race and taught anyone who wanted to learn. A great humanitarian and a role model for generations to come. Be Lee.